Welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island Cast USA. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. Delighted to talk to you about this one. It is really starting to hot up a bit there now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, we mentioned yesterday about good old Weston, and I'm sorry, Dave, I'm going to shit on him this episode because he deserves everything. I said to you yesterday, he loves playing the victim, doesn't he? He's very good at manipulating people to feel sorry for him, the way he's played the girls. And I've got to say, Dave, I had my full-on Spice Girls outfit on this episode because I am fucking girl power. Because him, and he's even manipulated the lads because Zach and that come across as bellends to me.
Well, they just fought his corner, didn't they? But it all started to unravel for him when the girls had their little spa day there and, you know, they started talking and you got Emily all loved up and telling everyone how great it's going. And then it just seemed to kind of unravel as each girl kind of added a little bit more into the whole picture. And Caro, she kind of took the lead, it seemed, and I thought that was a little bit rich, talking about how Weston had a connection with lots of different people. I think from anyone else in the villa, I'd have thought that would have been fine. But I thought Caro, it was a little bit rich coming from her. But then, I didn't disagree with anything she said at all. And then I think Emily was chipping in a bit, wasn't she? And then probably what sealed the deal was when Kyra basically said to Emily, oh, well, he told me, a few days ago that he had a connection, even on the morning of the recoupling, which probably, certainly took the wind out of Emily's sails, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a few things I do want to call out. It's interesting you said that about Caro, and I'd never looked at it from what she'd done. And I know that Mr. Voiceover Man, to be fair, was quite good with Kira saying, oh, sorry, yeah, what were you saying about Cashel, Eric, and the other guy, and all this. So she's right. And he was right. What was quite funny, actually, Dave. I'm sorry. I am sort of half warming to him now. So been a right two-faced fucker. But genuinely, I thought he was right, but I did respect Caro, Dave. It's funny that, because I was like, no, she's right. She said, look, I don't believe you. And I thought, Kira, give it the Bertie Big Bollocks, like, I'm straight to the point, mate. I don't tell anybody, I won't say to the face what I'm not saying and all this shit. And as soon as he was there, Weston, she didn't say a fucking dicky bit, but as soon as he went, she was the old scrappy do. Oh, yeah, I'm not having that. And I was like, oh, fuck off. Why didn't you say to him, well, you said you liked me. You said I was cute. I've had a crush on you from the start. We all saw it. Do it. I just thought that Kira, unfortunately, she's played the game like Weston, and they're both coming across really bad. And Alexandra was perfect, I thought. I thought she come across so right with him. And he's just one of these guys, unfortunately. He can't see further from the end of his nose, which coincidentally is quite red at the moment. But he genuinely can't see that he's done anything wrong. And what Elizabeth said was, is this just a pity party for Weston? And I'm there, Dave. I'm burning my bra on this episode because he deserves everything he gets, the miserable bastard.
Yeah. Well, have you got the old moves, have you? You sort of
yeah.
Let the moves run free. Yeah, so I tell you what I thought was a little bit off from Alexandra. So Jared chipped in with something. So when Weston's got all the boys rallied to his cause and Weston chips in with something, I didn't even pick up on what he said, but I didn't think what he said was particularly off. It was just the boys were fighting Weston's corner a bit and just saying, look, he's really upset. And Alexandra was just like, who is this guy? I thought that was a little bit harsh. That's okay for us as watchers to say it, but, I thought that was a bit harsh. And again, we talk about double standards. If a bloke had said that about a girl, I think we'd have been calling that out a bit more severely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I think, I've said it with the UK Villa, haven't I, Chris, that a curse on all their houses for me. And when I say all, I mean in this scenario, both Kira and Weston. Weston in particular, I think he's been particularly distasteful and he can't see it at all. But I don't think Kira's got any kind of grounds to be stood on the moral high ground at all. She's messed people about as well. And, she completely avoided any confrontation when Weston was over there. And I can't make my mind up. I don't know if that... Well, I do think it was a particularly clever move. I can't work out in my own mind whether I admire that for taking herself out the firing line, or I just think kind of, grow up and you've said all this stuff behind his back, so why not just say it in his face? I think there was enough ammunition to shoot him down there without bringing Kira into the equation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's strange the way that played out. It was a really bizarre episode as well. It was great to watch. I've got to say, Dave, I think the last 3 episodes of the US one have hit it out of the park. And I tell you why I think it's gaining some traction is if you look on the social media for Love Island USA, when it first started, and I know we both marshal our Twitter account, which coincidentally everyone is at Love Island Cast, they were only getting 2 or 3 retweets and a couple of comments here and there, including ourselves. If you look at it now, Dave, it's hundreds and hundreds of people are on it. And obviously we've had emails and we've read them out from various people regarding the show, who are watching it. So I think it's taking off. And Dave, to coincide with that, which is great news, you did tag me in this yesterday on Twitter. There is a season 2, my friend.
Yep. So we'll be there, no doubt.
Said with a lot of enthusiasm there, David. Yes.
Well, I hope they stagger them a little bit, because there's definitely a market there, isn't there? There's clearly what we've seen is it's not just us who, is watching both of them. From the, communications that we get through, you can tell that there's quite a lot of people who are interested in both. So I know it's been a little bit of a lukewarm start, and we've said it, haven't we? There's just something not quite clicking with it. But you told me, for the UK series, it took a couple of series to actually really get warmed up there. So I think it's good news that there's a second season, and I just hope they learn some of those lessons and make it a bit spicier in the future episodes, future seasons. Sorry.
No, I'm with you, Dave. I think they'll learn from it. I know I've been quite critical of the way it's played out and the times, the time scale of the actual show, but I think in the same respect, it's finding its feet now. I think it's not far off the UK one, I think. And I think as someone like Weston is in there, he's what they need in the show, really, to just creates that drama. You want to go back and watch him cringe and weasel out. And when he was talking to the guys, though, it was pathetic because he tried to talk to the girls. I give him respect for the sort of sitting down with them, but they were having none of it. And I think quite rightly, they've seen him piss about different girls, and they said, well, what about Katrina? What about Katrina? What about Kelsey? And then you're doing it now to Emily. You've said it to Kira. I'm sorry, but they called him out correctly. He deserved what he got, and that's exactly what he got, Dave. So great episode, and I really enjoyed it. I was thinking, oh, go on. And then obviously we get to the voting, and it's Yeman and Asata, and it's Weston and Emily at the bottom 2, Dave. And I've got a feeling good old Weston might be on the way out.
I've got a feeling you might be right. I can't imagine that the other couple will have less votes than those 2. I think the way he's messed people around, Emily's obviously quite new as well. I can't see that many people voting for them. So, yeah, I think I'm conflicted about it because I think he's been pretty distasteful. I think it's probably one of the first times in his life, if not the first time, whether he's actually been called out on it, because it's an abnormal situation, isn't it? That you've got all these people thrown into this pressure cooker and all talking to each other. He's probably mixing in different circles where he's able to get away with saying whatever he wants, saying these same sentences to multiple different girls and, saying to each one, oh, I've never felt like this for ages. It's been a long time since I felt like this. And it's like, so you said that to Kelsey before, and then you said that to Katrina before that. And then even Mallory, we've forgotten about Mallory. But it was kind of Mallory who friend-zoned Weston initially. I think Weston was making a play back then. So he just seems to spit out the same lines. And I think he believes it himself. He's like all great salesmen. You have to believe your own lies first before you can, or maybe not lies. That might be a bit harsh to all the great salesmen that I'm sure exist in the world. But, you have to believe your own version of the truth before you can go and sell it. And I think Weston absolutely drinks his own Kool-Aid there. And so, yeah, for that reason, I kind of want to see him voted out. I kind of want to see him get his comeuppance. But for the drama in the villa, like I said, the last few episodes, because of him and his whole love square, love triangle, all these different variations around him, it's been the best thing for the show.
Yeah, without that, that's what I said. We needed that, Dave. You're totally right. You're so right. As a fan, and Dave, we can call you a fan now these days, can't we? After sort of 2.5 months' worth of attrition you've had to go through of watching it, unfortunately, you do see, and even now, Dave, you must be able to see the little triggers or the way the episodes are going to go, because you can just see that little 20-second conversation that means absolutely fuck all ends up being an absolute drama. So absolutely love it. But again, I do think, though, from our point of view, I do hope to God they stagger it, because we've got the Aussie one coming up, hopefully, as well, and then we've got this double UK one. I mean, it could be oversaturation, Dave, but bring on the drama, I say.
Absolutely. And I think one of my favourite little bits, so after, Weston had got called out by the girls and proper roasted there, and then he went and had a bit of a cry to the blokes, he's like, oh, it's over. It's all over. They've all stabbed me in the back. And then for him, that little top 3 game that they had, he got absolutely slaughtered, because everything that the girls said was backed up by the American voting public. I thought that was just brilliant. And, for all the fun that various people were having, he wasn't one of them. So he'd had enough. And then he's like, oh, I'm leaving. I've had enough. But you know what it reminded me of, Chris? When you were a kid, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old or something, you're just getting your own independence, your own little personality and whatever. And then something happens, like you don't get your favorite meal at dinner or something. And then you just spit your dummy out and you're like, right, that's it. I'm leaving home. I'm going. I don't know about you, but my mum was like, well, go on then. And you're like, oh, right. Well, you're supposed to try and stop me.
Yeah.
Weston was packing up in the slowest pack up in the world. And I know, you sometimes have to kind of abstract how often is this in real time. But, if you want to leave, just chuck your stuff in the suitcase and you're off. That's it. But it was such a pathetic cry for pity. I was just like, oh, come on. And then, Emily's sort of saying, well, I don't want you to leave and yada, yada, yada. And that's exactly what he wanted. And I just think, definitely in that case, he was manipulating the people around him to feel sorry for him.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you read what you sow, Dave, and I think it's going to be pretty much, don't let the door hit you on the back of the head, Weston, my friend, because you see on social media, he deserves everything he gets. But again, a great episode, Dave. Now, if you want to get in contact with the show, guys, on Twitter, as I mentioned earlier, at Love Island Cast. If you want to email the show, the loveislandcast@gmail.com. And if you do like the show, please get on your podcast catching app and drop us a review, because anything out there that gives us a review helps us grow and grows the audience of the podcast. So thank you very much, as always, guys, for listening to the show. Thank you very much, Dave. And as you're a big country and Western fan, Dave, I think it's only fair that you lead us out with a bit of Western.
Well, we do know the boys from Texas, and there they do love a bit of a barbecue. And I thought tonight we enjoyed a good old Western roast. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.